Elon Musk begins by stating that he is currently disputing the number of bots on Twitter. He now claims that there's no way to tell how many bots there are, that it's incomprehensible to the humans, and that you'll need some sort of magic, such as witchcraft or alchemy. Elon describes how a person could approve 1,000 different accounts and then basically figure out how many bots there are. As a result, genuine humans are what individuals on Twitter really need. It's not like you're going to sell one toaster to 1,000 bots, so go with 1-to-1 instead of 1,000-to-1. You'd sell it to one person, and that one person represents 1,000 people, so it's disproportionate. But it's also potentially disproportionate in terms of the political implications of having tons of bot farms backing politicians that lean a particular way. You're effectively suffocating free expression by overloading it with favorable or anti-speech towards certain candidates. So, you've got a massive bot problem, and Elon Musk says it looks ridiculous. It's not like splitting the atom. We should be able to solve this very quickly, just as Twitter should be able to tell us how many bots there are. It is beyond unreasonable for Twitter to claim that the number of real humans is over 95%, Elon Musk stated, adding, "Does anyone actually have that experience?" The audience burst out laughing. He estimates that there are 4 to 5 times as many bots as Twitter has revealed in its public filings. This suggests that Twitter's income might be 20% lower. As a result, there is a 20% discount. If you valued it at $54, it would be $10.80. Twitter has obviously fallen much more than that, but that's because the deal will not go through if Twitter comes out and becomes complacent. Consider how many shareholder lawsuits they'd face if it was discovered that their revenue had been overstated by 20%. However, Elon Musk argues that he has the most liked tweet globally, and it's the tweet that has 4.7 million likes. And the tweet was, "Next time buying Coca-Cola to put the cocaine back in." Elon stated that since the public wants this, they should go back to Coca-Cola's roots. He was joking, but he asked, how can a tweet like that represent only 2 to 2.5% of the entire user base of Twitter? So, this is where Elon Musk thinks it should have a higher ratio. There may be a reason behind this. Only approximately 5 to 10% of video watchers actually click the like or dislike button, but they still watch the video. So, there'll be a distinction between clicking on the video and viewing it, which you don't really notice since it's more like an impression metric on Twitter. It's impossible to tell if someone read or if they were scrolling and glanced away before returning to scrolling, so it's difficult to gauge those kinds of impressions and how many people genuinely bother to push the like button. Maybe only 1% of you don't realize Twitter is supposed to know, but they don't appear to. Elon Musk is irritated by all this uncertainty. He talks about how we should have the open source algorithm, how, in the end, he wants the data, and that the more questions he asks, the more concerned he gets. That was, in fact, a quotation from him. He reacts to the concept that he's trying a right-wing takeover here, since that's how the far left characterizes the deal. Elon also discusses how he can assess advertisements if they are impression-based and bots generate many impressions. How is this fair to businesses attempting to promote their brands? So, he's really making this contrast here. This isn't even to touch on yet the insurance industry, which is very inefficient. Elon asks why you have to pay 30 to 40% of your payment on a lease for a car for insurance and then not get rewarded for driving better. He added that if you're 20 years old, you get destroyed for being 20 and getting insurance just because you're 20. Statistically, 20 years old drive less bad. But if you're a good driver or you're incentivized to drive well because you're watching your safety score, in real time, you're getting a lower insurance premium well now. Not only do they promote safer driving, but they can also give cheaper insurance to the people who are less of a risk. Let's go on to the most often asked question: will the Twitter deal close? He says it depends at this point, and he's waiting for a plausible explanation for the spam accounts. He claims that Twitter is refusing to inform him because it is a complicated methodology that only a few people understand. Could the deal be done at a cheaper price, he asks at this point. And he says that it's not out of the question. However, he doesn't really indicate that he's bargaining. The people on stage from the podcast imply that this seems like an excellent moment to negotiate. For example, if I'm a home buyer and I'm told the property has 5% termites, but it has 90% termites, the house is worth less than. In that case, you're not purchasing a home. Instead, you're buying a termite. So, a little bit of this stuff from engineers about starting again and simply doing something. Elon is now thinking about how he can attract the top engineers. My default inclination is to start from the beginning, Elon said. SpaceX started from scratch, and Tesla started from scratch with around 5 people. So obviously, Twitter fell from like -5% to like -8% on the day. Then he got SpaceX, whose mission is to make life on planetary bodies. He talks about how we can build satellites on the moon or in remote locations or bigger telescopes to see the world a little bit better. He then also added that California has gone from being the land of opportunity to become the land of taxes, overregulation, and litigation. He said, "This is not a good situation. It took 18 months to build gigataxes, which are 3 to 4 times the size of the Pentagon. In California, if we're trying to build this, I'll still be waiting for permits." Elon also said that individuals must adapt to desire this, though there must be a greater than zero possibility that Republicans would win, given California is currently a one-party state. He also referenced China, saying, even if you held a gun to Gavin Newsom's head to build a Tesla factory, he couldn't do it. Too many litigators, too much regulation, and that's why people are leaving. Then he speaks about recessions, which aren't always a negative thing. In a boom, everyone receives money like a fool. As a result, you have a misallocation of capital, with individuals spending money on things they don't actually need. So, a recession is an economic enema, similar to when you clean out your house and don't know where the sun shines. Let's consider the case of Carvana. They just laid off 1,200 individuals, accounting for 9% of its sales force, because people spend money like crazy during a boom and don't know that good times don't last forever. For example, suppose you were planning to buy a plane, but then realized that there's a potential of a recession next year, and you're not about to invest money in an asset. When consumers start tightening their belts again, that might potentially lose half of their worth, and you'll be bankrupt. Remember to pay your taxes and protect the base so you don't get screwed if you are caught all on margin, or a speculative trade and all in on speculation, which is quite risky. So, Elon Musk says we probably are in a recession, that things could likely get worse, and things could get worse for another 12 to 18 months. Most people predict that we'll be in misery for at least another year, maybe until 2024 or even 2025. This seems to be taking a long time, and then you think back to the dot-com bubble, which took us from 2000 to 2003 to reach the bottom. Moreover, Elon Musk discusses immigration and how everyone who wants to work hard in the United States should be free to do so. For example, why don't they let someone in who wants to work incredibly hard here and waives all of their benefits? People who have gone through this often wonder why recruiting someone from another nation is so difficult. Why is it necessary to go through a 2-year application process and acquire a PhD? Then Elon Musk says the apparent reason for inflation is the government printed a zillion more dollars than it has, and if the velocity of money is held constant, you get inflation. Then he discusses a little bit about China, and the main point is that the Chinese people have a strong work ethic. When asked about the difference between Americans and Chinese, he responded, "Look, Americans, we got to step up our game. Tesla's got a powerful work ethic and individuals that power a great company, but the work ethic in China is exceeded on balance by the Tesla China team. In other words, the work ethic in the US is exceeded by the Tesla China team on average." He further clarified that this does not imply that there aren't hard-working people at Tesla in America. He's only stating the facts.